Hello, good to know that you're there. Thank you so much for always being around. Thank you for your compliments and your encouraging words. You make us want to get up or do this work more. Thank you so much again. Now, we already started with dietary zinc. We talked about the historical perspective, and then in the previous, we looked at the sources of zinc, in which case animal sources, animal tissues, and also from plants. We talked about the fact that those from animal tissues are actually more bioavailable. And the term bioavailable is that they are easily digestible and utilized in the body. So, and today we'll be looking at absorption. Sequel to digestion, in quotes, although minerals, you don't talk about digestion as such. Just would now look at absorption, how these things are taken into the bloodstream from the intestine. So today we'll look at absorption of dietary zinc. Now you've known the sources of zinc you can get from green vegetables, you get from animal skin, animal muscles like fish, egg, and the sauce and the likes. Now we'll look straight into the absorption. When food is taken, ingested, they are, for example, for those that might masticated, that is ground, will be done, and then saliva, if it's carbohydrate, starts digestion from the mouth. But for all this dietary zinc, it goes in straight to the intestine, where in the small intestine, particularly the small intestine is the site of digestion, absorption of zinc, particularly the jejunum. Now you know the small intestine has three parts to it: the jejunum, the duodenum, the ileum, duodenum, and the jejunum. So particularly in the jejunum. Now this is the same thing with iron and some other minerals we looked at. Now I want you to go to the previous videos. You have them, so please check. Now if you've not liked, please like, and also share, make your comments, compliment, or anyone, or ask a question. Subscribe so you get to know, to get more of our content. Thanks so much. Alright, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for liking. So we go ahead. Now the efficiency of absorption will depend on the actual state or the quantity of zinc in the body at the start of it. Of course, you know, when something is saturated, you don't absorb more. When it's less in quantity, you don't have enough, you take in more. So absorption of zinc, just like the previous we looked at, like calcium, like iron and sulfur and others, depends on the quantity that is already available in the body. If the levels are low, the absorption is more. But if the levels are moderate or high, the body doesn't absorb much. Now let's go into some factors that particularly affect or determine the rate at which zinc is absorbed. First of all, we'll look at the enhancers, and then we'll look at the inhibitors. Now these are quite opposites. Something that supports, enhancers supports, and then the inhibitors kind of reduce it. Now we'll look at the first factor is meat. Now we've talked about it now earlier on that zinc or metal or elements that are in animal tissues are usually more bioavailable. Those in plant sources, like you have in green leafy vegetables and others, are not usually bioavailable. The reason is because of, sorry I have to be jumped down, because of phytic acid, the phytate. The phytate is such that it's in seeds, grains, legumes, and you have the like cereals. Phosphorus, available phosphorus, is actually bound in phytate form or phytic acid. So this phytic acid itself binds with certain minerals like zinc, like iron 3, and also calcium and the others, making them non-available. Now that reminds me The last class I talked about an assignment, and I said, tell me what ways by which we can break and make these minerals available. For example, zinc, iron, this, that are bound by phytic acid. The phytic acid is in plants. It's actually the rich store of phosphorus in plants. However, it's actually bound and not made available for the body. But there are things you have to do to break the bonds so that not just the phosphorus is released and made available, but also things like other elements like zinc, iron, and calcium that the body needs. I talked about that. Now let me give the answer to the question. Number one is cooking. Every heat treatment breaks the bonds. Now, almost all plant secondary metabolites, flavonoids and the others, are denatured, or the bonds are broken by heat. So when you heat your grains, like you eat your beans, your yam, your beans, not yam, the grains, the beans, the nuts and the other grain, the cereals, the phytic acid, they have the bonds broken, and so the bonds binding or attaching or holding the zinc, iron, calcium, magnesium and the others are broken, then releasing them and making them available for the body. So heating is one, in which case heating are different types. It could be roasting, either you're roasting your corn, it could be toasting, or it could be just cooking with oil or steaming. Those are. Then non-cooking methods are, for example, soaking. Sometimes you soak your grains, you soak maize, you want to use to grind to make pap, you soak them. That soaking also causes the breaking of it. So you soak for 2 or 3 days or thereabout. You also have the fight in the bonds to break. Then fermentation is another. So fermentation also helps to break. Now given 3, or the heat treatment are given about 3 also on heat. So you want to tell me, now these are other, just put in the comment section another means by which you know phytic acid or almost any other secondary metabolites or plants are broken. So just put that in the comment section so we get to know. Let's make it interactive as much as possible. Thank you so much. So that is what happens. So back to our enhancers. The enhancers have meat factors, which are animal protein. The animal proteins don't have phytic acid, so the zinc in them are bioavailable, so easy to take. So it enhances the availability and absorption of zinc. Number 2 is organic acid, citric acid. Citric acid have a way of enhancing or improving the digestion, availability of zinc, making them available, because also there's something called citric anhydrase. Citric anhydrase. It's actually found in the red blood cells. It's actually a very large, it's more like it has a large collection of zinc. So it's being in the blood, the red blood cells, like talked about the other time, the erythrocytes. The erythrocytes are the red blood cells. So this makes zinc available in the body. So citric acid, a form of citric anhydrase, make zinc available in the red blood cells. Then zinc deficiency. Deficiency also enhances it. I talked about this when we were here, saying that the fact that you don't have, or there's shortage of zinc, makes it easy for the body to absorb more. But when you have enough or even excess, the body doesn't seem to have any reason to absorb, so there's no need to absorb. So the fact that there is actually a deficiency, it actually enhances absorption of zinc. Then let's move straight to the inhibitors. I've already talked about this in passing, that phytic acid is number 1. It binds and is found in seeds, in grains, in legumes, cereal plants, cereal crops, and cereal seeds. So if you eat them unprocessed, uncooked, unfermented, unsoaked, you are not going to be having some of the minerals that are needed for the body. So the heat treatment or the cooking or fermenting or the others make the not just zinc, other trace elements and minerals available. Other inhibitors that affect or hinder these other factors are the calcium iron supplements. Now, when taken together in large quantity, now there are certain elements that they are more like exclusive presence. If this is present in much quantity, it ensures that the other is not available or not going to be available. More like an antagonistic relationship. There is an antagonistic relationship between iron, calcium presence and that of zinc. So when this iron and these supplements are taken much, you already have them taken in food, but then you take supplements of it, increasing the quantity or the levels of calcium and iron, they kind of inhibit the presence or the absorption of zinc. So the key word is moderation, taking moderate levels of each nutrient so that we have a balance. Balance is all about moderation. Thank you. Now, in order to draw the curtain, typically about 20 to 40% of dietary zinc is actually absorbed under normal condition. So, all things being equal, absorption of 20 to 40% of dietary zinc occurs when the animal or the human person is actually in good health and all things being equal. The food is also being properly cooked and the phytic acid bonds broken, making the nutrients available. Now, having said or considered this, I want to throw it open to you. You have a question or a gray area you do not understand, you can just type and send this. Now, if you did the assignment or you want to add to the process by which phytic acid bonds are broken to release minerals, please put on the comment section. Let us know. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. By this, we get to be encouraged. We also want you to ask a question, follow, share if you gain value. We'll draw the curtain tonight for it in order not to make the video too long. We'll have the next metabolism of zinc. I want you to stay to look forward to that. Thank you so much. Let's meet in the next class. Thanks. Bye.